So a new video, a new setup, new angle, but definitely not a very good day for Google today. So the Google Pixel Slate that came alongside the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL, it's a product from Google. I mean, I literally would not even call this a product. I would call it a thing from Google, which was targeted against the iPad. So I thought this would be this worthy contender that would be really good. I mean, it would have pretty good specs. Chrome OS, it sounds all fine. But when it comes to the overall package, I wouldn't even call this thing a tablet or even a product in sense. So this is the Apple sheep reacts slash completely obliterates and completely destroys the Pixel Slate. Coming up right to you. Let's begin. Now, Google products in general aren't that bad. The phones are pretty okay. I mean, they take good photos, etc. They do the stuff pretty well. But this new tablet that Google announced in the I/O keynote back in September when the Pixel 3 and 3 XL were unveiled, it almost seems like they rushed before the iPad Pro could ever come along and shake things up. So it looked like they really rushed to get the thing out, just like Samsung did with the S4, Tab S4. They tried to get it out before the iPad release, but as you know, the iPad ended up doing way better than all the tablets because if I would recommend any tablet right now, or anyone in general, it would be the iPad. So that is the main competitor, but this isn't even a compare. So getting started on the main problems I have with this particular device. Now Google, if you're going to advertise this as a tablet, well, in my book, a touchscreen just doesn't cut it. I mean, if you make a touchscreen and put it on a laptop, that doesn't mean it's a tablet. And that's pretty understandable because you just can't slap a touchscreen onto something and then call it a tablet. It needs to be a predominantly touch interface. That's when you can call it a tablet. But Google, of course, they decide to mess up with the naming schemes and naming a laptop. They call this a tablet and put it under the tablet section. But almost 80 or 90% of the tablet's features is not even available without buying the $200 accessory, that is the keyboard and trackpad. Not saying that iPad Pro does come with one, but the difference between these two is that the iPad Pro doesn't require you to get the magic attachable keyboard, because you could still take full advantage of the hardware without getting that keyboard case, which is, I think it's a little stupid. I don't know why you would need that. Like, if you really need a keyboard, just get a laptop. And many people do say that we are moving towards a more digital age where people don't want to use a laptop, but they don't want to use a completely touchscreen tablet either. They want something to type on. Maybe iPad, that it's there for users. So there's an option for you to get that keyboard. But this keyboard that comes, or you have to buy separately for the Pixel Slate, isn't an accessory. It is a necessity. Like, literally, the first thing you see when you turn on the device, and this is another flaw by the way, literally when you first turn on any device, like any electronic device, PC, tablet, phones, anything, like any Android, like Android, iOS, Microsoft, even Microsoft Windows Mobile for that matter, you turn it on and the first screen you see is like hello or study your language or something like that. But literally the first screen that shows up when you power on the Pixel Slate is connect your keyboard and mouse, because we sure got one, right? So the $200 accessory that Google expects you to buy with every Pixel Slate, of course, doesn't come with the Pixel Slate, so it expects you to pair it as soon as you get the product. Now, what if I want to use my Pixel Slate out of the box without the keyboard and trackpad? You literally can't do that. The interface is completely based on mouse and keyboard, and with a few exceptions here and there, it expects you to have a mouse and keyboard anywhere. Even in the setup screen, the first thing you see, and you try to input the Bluetooth serial number or something for pairing. If that doesn't work, it doesn't even pop up the on-screen keyboard automatically. It expects you to have the keyboard and mouse, and this is all throughout the system. So throughout the setup process, you're searching something in Chrome, it expects you to have a mouse and keyboard, but when you actually don't, it doesn't automatically bring up the on-screen keyboard, which I think is just stupid. I mean, why Google expects you to buy this with every purchase. So if it's a necessity to use with the Pixel Slate, just include it in the box. But now what I would really see this Pixel Slate being is just a remodeled Pixel book. So Google will probably be like, the Pixel books didn't sell very well last year, so why not we just pull the keyboard and trackpad out and then sell it as a different product and sell the keyboard and mouse separately so that people will at least buy the tablet. So if Google expects you to buy the tablet separately, you should be able to use all aspects of the operating system with a touch interface. I am telling you, a touchscreen is not enough to make any device a tablet. If that was the case, you could just call a touchscreen laptop a tablet, which it isn't. A touchscreen laptop isn't a tablet. So my second big, it really bugs me, but this is the biggest problem I have with the Pixelbook. So this acts so much like a laptop, and Google's really trying to give you that laptop experience. And mind you, the price starting is $600, and for that you get a Intel Core Celeron and all that good lag spikes. So yeah, and anyways, getting back to the worst part of this Pixel Slate, as I said, the power button behaves just like something else we have quite seen. So when you press the power button on the Pixel Slate, it turns off the display, and the first thing you think is that this has locked the device. But what this actually does is behaves more like a laptop lid. So it behaves exactly like how when you close a lid of a laptop, how the laptop would behave. So you could open it up anywhere and it wouldn't ask you for the password, most of the computer. So Google wanted to make this experience so much like a laptop, so when you press the power button, it's gonna just put the screen to sleep and not gonna lock your device. So you could go through a whole day without locking your device, and then someone could just get into your tablet by just pressing the power button once. That's it, you're in. Now this is the problem because you forgot to hold down the power button and then press the lock option, which is just stupid. This is the first time I've seen a tablet do something like this. The Pixel products don't do this, like phones, and this has been the rule ever since biometrics became a thing. So even the iPad, that's how it works, and even the Surface, that's how it works. You press the power button, locks the device. But of course Google tries to change everything up because they're completely not a copy of Apple, right? So then, there's the lag controversies. I wouldn't call it a controversy. There's the lag, okay? Now you might say, oh, the lag isn't as bad as the Pixel book. May I forward you to this video?
Hey, what is up guys? I'm KBHD here, and this is the Google Pixel Slate. This tablet, it was announced alongside the Pixel 3 back in October. I ordered one, then it didn't ship for a couple weeks, so it was a little bit delayed, but now I've got mine. And this thing has made me so sad and confused and curious, but mostly sad. Like if I was doing a tablet award show also for 2018, this one would most likely end up getting the toilet bowl trophy, bust of the year. Here's why. Welcome to Lag City. Population, Pixel Slate. You might remember I didn't show my first impressions of the Pixel Slate in my video where I went to Google before they unveiled the Pixel 3. And that was because I literally thought there's no way it's this bad, and it's pre-production software, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I didn't show it on camera, and I just did a Pixel 3 first impressions. But I did see this in pre-production mode. But now that they're shipping it like this, this is it. It's almost unbelievable. This is real time. The animation for multitasking legitimately takes several seconds, and it's everywhere. Scrolling is not fast. Loading pretty much anything is slow. I feel like this whole UI runs at like 12 to maybe 20 frames per second usually. Pinch to zoom in pretty much anything, but especially in web browsing, is usually lag city. It's just not fun. And like no matter how many features you throw in here, no matter how powerful Chrome OS can be, I'll never be able to use this tablet long enough to even discover half of that stuff because it's just really not fun. I've been trying to force myself to use this tablet for the past couple days on and off, messing with apps, flipping back and forth between web apps and native apps, and doing some writing and watching videos, etc. But I never really got very far because within minutes, I'm just sitting there annoyed at how much lag and choppiness there is everywhere. And of course, that is a stark contrast, basically the opposite of what makes the iPad Pro so fun to use, which is the excessive effortless and smooth performance thanks to that A12X Bionic. It's massively powerful. So I'm thinking a lot of that has to do with the spec I bought. This is the baseline model, so $600, so it is cheaper than the iPad Pro. And for that money, you get 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage, and an internal Intel Celeron processor, which, you know, that's probably a bottleneck. So if I give them that benefit of the doubt, I'd have to spend about $800, which is the same as iPad Pro money, just to get out of Celeron world. Or maybe I should have gone with the i5. But for Chrome OS, like, really? They shouldn't, either way. They shouldn't have shipped this one. This is so sad, honestly. And I had a lot of hope, but I literally haven't been able to force myself to use it long enough to dive into the more niche features or really test the battery life or any of that, because none of that stuff even matters if at the surface it's borderline unusable. Without this keyboard, if you were planning on using this as your daily tablet, this ain't it, Chief. This is not the move. Do not spend $600 on this. My advice would be give a shot for the i5 or i7 versions of it. Maybe performance will be better and you can use it more often as a laptop. Or if you only have that $600 to spend, just get an iPad.
And that is what you're getting for $600. Mind you, that's without the keyboard and mouse included. So you gotta buy that separately, and the Intel Core Celeron version with the keyboard and trackpad is gonna cost you an awesome $800 if you're into that. So you could get a nice iPad Pro without the smart cover. I understand that it's a little cheaper, but you get an A12X chip, which is like, what, 10 times faster than its Celeron? Now, I don't really blame the chip here for being slow or laggy. I've seen Windows PCs run Celeron chips really well. I mean, a $150 Windows laptop I've seen has that. It's called the HP Stream. Check it out, it's $150. And it runs Windows as smooth as maybe an i5 or even an i3 or an i5. It runs Windows as smooth as, and you really can't tell the difference between it. But of course, Google software is Chrome OS, so you would expect it to be, better in terms of optimization compared to Windows and Mac OS. But oh boy, were you wrong. The optimization is just utter horrible and just lag spikes everywhere, like I showed you in the previous video by MKBHD. And this is not an isolated incident though. The lag spikes are everywhere in the operating system. If you have more than 6 applications open in the background, you're done for that day. I mean, your computer's gonna crash, it's gonna do weird stuff, and you're just not gonna get ahead of it. I mean, you could get a much better experience in a $150 laptop that you can pick up. I'm telling you guys, if you really want a Chromebook, just get a $200 Chromebook. It's available from Asus. If you want the Google branding, just buy a Google sticker and slap it on there. The Google Pixel Slate starts at $600 for an Intel Core Celeron, which is not a bad CPU. But of course, Google's Chrome OS is supposed to be really good, right? And then this comes to the apps. So this can run native Android apps, which is a good thing because Play Store has a lot of apps. At the same time, it's a lot of malicious apps, but that's not a really common thing you see. But then the main thing that really sets me off is that each and every application that you might want on the home screen, the shortcuts are laid out there. But when you click on anything, it just forwards you right to Google Chrome. So you're paying $600 for a machine that can browse Chrome. I've seen $300 laptops or $300 iPads doing this better, but I guess it's got the Google logo on it, so yeah. So if you are looking to buy a Google Pixel product, like a tablet or something, and you really need a keyboard and mouse to go along with it, just get the Pixel Book, okay? It's the same thing, but with the trackpad and keyboard, and it costs $1,000. And when it came out, of course, it costed $1,600. But now that it's older, like 2 years older, you can get it for around $1,000 on their website. So that's pretty good deal. I mean, I still would recommend spending $1,000 on a Chromebook. I think you should totally spend a little less. Now, before you guys jump on me in the comment section below saying that iOS has its limitations, okay? Yes, I understand that, but that is iOS, okay? That is a mobile operating system. But when Google advertised this as a tablet and has a complete desktop interface, I mean, literally not even most of the parts of this operating system isn't even mobile. And if they're gonna put all the apps like desktops, then it should have equal amount of features and stuff to go around with it. And it's simply limited for what they actually they don't advertise it as a laptop, but that's basically what it is. It's like a tablet, but it's not a laptop. It's not even a tablet. Like literally, you can't call this a tablet. So then there's the apps. Okay, I think I got this one from a few other YouTubers there. Taylor Swift Tech, Andrew Taylor Swift Tech had a lot of problems with his app. So you could see the Pixel Slate just randomly crashing all over the place. I mean, there's a lot of things, and just to give you some context here, Taylor Swift Tech, Drew from Taylor Swift Tech, had the i5 model, which costs $1,000, and that's supposed to be pretty smooth, right? Oh, you were wrong. You can barely hit 30 frames per second on the home screen, like scrolling through the app drawer. Nothing is smooth, and I can find $300 iPads that run smoother than that. I mean, literally, if you're gonna browse the web or something, just get the $300 iPad, unless you really want the Chrome logo on it. I guess that's a thing. But anyways, this Pixelbook thing just doesn't make sense. So getting back to the apps, the biggest problem that anyone had on this Pixel Slate was the YouTube app. So when you actually get the product, it actually has the shortcut for the desktop version of YouTube. So that's a problem. You've got small menus, it's optimized for desktop. Okay, fine. If you get the trackpad and keyboard accessory, that's gonna work well. Okay, the desktop version is gonna work better than the mobile version for sure. But if you're not gonna use it that way, and you can just download the YouTube app from Play Stores because it can run Android apps. So then when you download the YouTube app and then you expect it to be like optimized or something for this big form factor, no. So if you actually look at the iPad version of YouTube, it is better than actually what Android tablets have. So basically, Google apps are optimized better on iOS than they are on Android. And literally, they are the ones to get the the app updates faster than the Android version itself, because just plain old developer conference. Even Google prefers developing apps for iOS instead of Android. So the biggest problem with the YouTube app on this thing is that you see that the bottom bar is no longer there. So the home, trending, subscriptions, those library tabs, which are normally in mobile YouTube, aren't there. So you think there's some sort of a rearrangement going on here, there's some optimization. But what's the real cold hard truth here is that the little taskbar like thing you see on Windows is covering up the tabs of YouTube. Now, the way you can see this is just try to close the app, okay? And then mid animation, just stop there, and then you'll see the tabs of YouTube. So if you literally want to switch tabs, you have to swipe up and then start filling out with the other finger. That is just stupid. Why did Google do this? I don't know. I mean, it's not exactly what they wanted to do, but their own app, this just shows that their own apps aren't optimized properly for this Pixel Slate. See, I'm starting to get a little upset about this. Like, someone has to be a fan of this, right? It has to be someone's favorite. I mean, I've really tried to get some sort of use of this thing. I'm trying to read articles, blogs, why this thing would be of any use to someone. I can't really find any good reason to that, but those people out there who enjoy the Pixel Slate, I'm happy for you, okay? If you enjoy it, come on, go ahead, enjoy it, I'm happy for you. But I just don't find any use to this device. It's just a Pixel book without the keyboard and trackpad. What can I say about the Google Pixel Slate? It's just, I don't know, it's not a complete product, okay? It's not a complete product, it's not ready to go out in store yet. The software is just all over the place, and the lag is horrible, okay? And even the cameras aren't that great. The iPad Pro's cameras are just next level. I mean, they are actually the same cameras that you see on the iPhone XR. So I don't know why Apple would have wanted a really good camera on a tablet, but so you have it and it's there, so it's good for you. And I don't really see a lot of people taking photos with tablets, but I guess if you really need the camera to be good on your iPad or your tablet in general, the iPad Pro has a really good thing and good thing going for it. And even the Pixel book is a better product than this thing, the Pixel Slate. And even the Microsoft Surface lineup, Surface 2018 is a really good product. And if you want, a Windows experience, that's a really good product. And this argument would this argument of, it's not a tablet kind of thing, could apply to the Surface Pro as well. But that runs full Windows, and you can do so much on it, and you can't really accuse it of being bad because it can do so much. It's full-fledged Windows 10. And when you get something like a Chromebook that literally opens every link in Google Chrome, even the Drive app, just trust me, even the Drive app opens in Google Chrome. So everything that is a website of just opens in Google Chrome, and just need that one app, and you don't need anything else. Even the settings is within Google Chrome. Like, why would you want that in Google Chrome? Like, literally, why? Anyways, guys, this is why I felt that the Google Pixel Slate just isn't worth your money. If you're gonna pay a $600 grand for that thing, it's just not worth it. Get the $300 iPad that's gonna run, at least it can run the home screen at 60 frames per second, not 15 or 10 to 15 frames per second. So if you're really looking for a good tablet out there, this will not break the bank, just get the $300 iPad, okay? Or get the Pixel Lite. Yes, the Pixel Lite. Get the Microsoft Surface Go. That's a really good tablet for the money. So it's $400. It's a little expensive than tablet, but of course it has that full Windows experience, and it's a really good tablet. Get these two options. Just consider these two as tablets. Just don't consider the Pixel Slate as a tablet. It's not a complete product. Anyways, guys, this is pretty much it for this video. This is Yapo Sheepy, and I'll see you all in the next one.